Ethical elections. I think we've gone through all the things that I'm aware of that need to be addressed there or that have been brought up. If not, let's move on to the disclosure issue.
Yes.
And I think we have a brief report from the city attorney's office. Did you get water?
Yes. And this is in reference to a PAC being possibly allowed to contribute, was it $1,000 or was the amount proposed?
I think that's what we've got in the existing,
Okay.
that's in the existing recommendation.
Yes.
Okay. Currently, I'll just give a legal update on how PACs can currently contribute without registering as MFCs. I've rendered an opinion to the city clerk, and which was accepted by the city clerk and administration, is that any organization that's a corporation or other entity can give up to the same amount that any individual is allowed to any candidate. As long as that threshold is not exceeded, they don't have to register. In other words, any corporation, including a PAC, can elect to contribute up to $875 in the last election. That's significantly more than $250, which is the registration requirement that is in the charter.
The existing charter.
Correct. So so right now that right already exists for any organization through the case law. That was the Greenbaum litigation that eliminated the individual contribution only requirement. Anything beyond that for a PAC, it seems would have to be in the charter for a designated amount, and probably also need to reference that they're registered with the FEC.
Right. Well, I think our existing recommendation has criteria for the PAC spending, or I want to use the nonprofit spending. That's probably a better term. The nonprofit spending, the courts have upheld requiring them to report what they're spending in an election. What we've got in our existing recommendation to the council is that they report if they spend more than $1,000.
Yes,
What
that is correct.
What the discussion has been is whether we should change that to a larger amount, to say $2,500. That was what was raised at one of our meetings. So, is there anybody who wants to make a motion to increase it to $2,500?
Couple of questions.
Yes.
First, Eric, that information is very helpful. So, any non-MFC can contribute up to the amount an individual can contribute, times 2 if there is a runoff, correct?
Yes.
Right.
All right. And what's to keep a local group? What's to keep a local group from doing that without registering as an MFC?
Under what circumstances?
Well, say you've got a group, Good County Government or something, I don't know, and they're not an MFC in the city of Albuquerque.
Correct.
Or they live in Albuquerque, but they're not an MFC in the city of Albuquerque. Can anyone just give up to the $850, which was the current, without registering as MFC?
Correct. Any entity or individual, whether they're a PAC or not, or an MFC or what.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that
or
effectively
CFC.
then is raising the MFC threshold to $850, is it not?
Correct. 875 to the same amount as the individual.
875.
So in other words, under the new case law, in the old days, anything over 250 by an organization that had to register as an MFC. The new
Okay.
law. So right now, any entity, whether it's a corporation, a nonprofit, for-profit, PAC registered, the FEC, anyone can do up to the individual amount without any registration requirements.
Okay, and Are we allowed to change that? Are we allowed to change that upper,
No,
go higher on that?
no, we can't do that. What we're talking about here is a local group. It could be, the plumbers union, local 70, whatever they're called. It could be the lovers of the Bosque, or a national group, the Sierra Club, AFL-CIO. When they spend money in the local election, what we've currently got is a proposal that if they spend more than $1,000, that they have to register and report that in excess of $1,000. The only thing we're talking about is we've already made that recommendation. The only thing we're talking about is should we increase that in a way that might, if it is ever challenged, make it more constitutional. Does everybody understand?
I think Eric said something I just want to clarify.
Okay.
You said there's no further registration requirement, I thought, if they're SEC registered.
Well, I think that this task force would have to decide exactly what entities would have that higher threshold.
We've decided.
Okay, that's just,
It's in the existing recommendation. Okay? We made that recommendation in June. The issue that came up would be, do we suggest to the council they explore increasing the criteria requiring registration from 1,000 to 2,500? That's the issue. And if there's anybody who feels that that should be done, I'll entertain a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the motion?
So if a group in Washington called Good Local Government Fund sends $5,000 to a mayoral candidate or whatever, that local group would be required to register with the city of Albuquerque?
No, that's a direct contribution to the campaign. This is when they spend money independently.
I got you, okay.
If the good government group from Washington comes and spends independently more than 1,000 under our existing recommendation, then they have to report and account for that local spending, not their national spending. Everybody got it?
So it's their spending they report, not their fundraising.
Correct.
Call the question.
I just want to say I'm fine with the existing threshold that we have.
I am.
Stay with that.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
Okay.
We
All
should
in
have a
favor of
vote.
increasing to 2,500, raise your hand. Okay, 1, 5, 4 against.
You have two hands, right?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 against. Okay,
Did you count
I counted you.
the phone?
I counted your proxy.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Any other issues on open and ethical election? Heather?
Could you report that vote, please? What is
It
it?
was 8 to 6. 8 to
5.
8 to 5. 8 to 5.
There were 8 in favor.
8 against.
8 against, I'm sorry.
It fails.
5 to 8.
So the amount remains
Stays at
at.
1,000.
Stays at
1,000.
Stays at $1,000.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm a little blind on this.
Is that okay?
Is it, Heather, was there any other thing that you all wanted to raise with regard to open and ethical elections? I mean, strike that, the election.
Thank you. Thank you. No, that captures everything. And then, so next week or the next one we're gonna be doing on the clarified language, the voting again on the matching fund stuff.
Yep.
Correct.
Just make sure I didn't get disconnected from that. Okay, good.
All right.
Thank you. That's all we got.
Okay, I think we're ready to move on now to review of findings on ethics board dispositions of complaints. Lindsay, do you want to this was the issue on perhaps a discussion about independent enforcement of the ethics code, a charter provision to deal with that in some way.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to be respectful of everyone's time, I'll make this kind of quick. So we reviewed some of the ethics complaints and their dispositions dating back to 2008 and found that the majority of complaints were actually dismissed for lack of evidence of violation. And some of the findings tended to be a little bit vague as well. So I worked closely with Mr. White and Mr. Thompson, and they had some pretty good ideas about maybe some ways to address this, because it is the burden of proof falls on the individual, who files the complaint. And I know that there's historically been an issue there. Bob, did you want to?
Yeah, I think the issue, that was one of the questions that came out with the issue that actually I had raised on whether that there should be someone that could someone with an appropriation that could independently investigate or make a threshold investigation of ethics complaints.
Right, viable.
And because I related that in the 29 election, I had all the candidates, let me rephrase that. I had all the candidates that were not making phone calls out of the Republican headquarters saying, Bob, go out and sit in front of the Republican headquarters and count the people going in and making phone calls, and you file a lawsuit against them. And I said, I can't do that. One, I have no real authority to do that, and anything that's done has to be based upon a complaint. If you want to bring a complaint, the Board of Ethics can look at it. So some people have said, well, maybe because the Board of Ethics has a staff person, an auditor that they have on contract that reviews the reports that are made by candidates, there's been some discussion about whether the Board of Ethics should have an independent ability to investigate complaints, and have a contract attorney or somebody else that the board could use and say they could make a threshold. I'm just talking out loud. Make a threshold decision. This seems to warrant further investigation. Go look at it, or not. I'm not. I think the problems. I'm not really advancing that idea anymore. I think there are other problems there are other ways to address the issue. Some of the issues there. So I'm going to withdraw that unless anybody wants to put it forward.
I just want to say that looking at it, the complaints that I had heard about how things were being handled, the charter gives the Board of Ethics complete authority to do all these things and to deal with it. It seems more of an issue of, not for the charter, which is what we're here for, but having a Board of Ethics that wants to take the bull by the horns and actually deal with these things. They have the authority to do it, so I have no additional concerns.
That's helpful to me, thank you.
Good.
Thank you for
Okay.
that research.
Next man.
All right. The next issue would be to look at the idea of whether or not we want to make a recommendation on clarifying language that the city attorney and the city clerk are have to be reappointed every 4 years, even if a mayor is reelected. And I think some people have said that was the intent of the 2009 Charter Review Commission when they created these two boards independently. The issue came up. The mayor did not reappoint either of these. Facts have supplanted both. There've been a new clerk and a new city attorney since the election. that both have been confirmed by the council. So this is just a question of, should the language be clarified that it's automatic that a city attorney or city clerk be reappointed?
Well, automatic that they're reappointed or automatic that there be a new hearing on them?
Well, it'd be both. You'd have a hearing to
Okay.
reappoint them.
A
Yeah,
hearing
okay, yeah.
regarding the appointment.
Yeah, I would be in favor of causing a reappointment to occur every 4 years.
Is there a motion?
I would so move.
Sick.
Okay.
Could you repeat that motion, please?
The motion is that the appointment of the city attorney and the city clerk be for a term of 4 years, and that upon the next election of a mayor, even if it is the same mayor, that there be a reappointment process or a new appointment process for the mayor and the city clerk.
For city attorney and
City attorney.
City attorney, did I say something else?
the mayor.
Oh, I'm sorry, the city attorney and the city clerk.
All right, that's been moved
Would
and
would the movement entertain a friendly amendment?
Go ahead, Doug.
Would you be willing to bifurcate these into two separate motions? One for the clerk and one for the attorney?
I guess if Mr. Antune has a view on one different than the other, I'd be happy to accommodate.
Okay, let's vote on.
Let's do one I move for the city clerk.
Okay, city attorney's been moved and seconded.
Or city attorney, Doug.
All right, we're starting with city attorney. All in favor of an automatic rehearing and reappointment every 4 years, raise your right hand.
Unless you have proxy.
Okay, get these votes. There's Steve,
I'm
Laura, Bruce.
Madison.
Doug, where are you on this?
I'm opposed to that. Two
Okay.
votes, please.
Okay.
And Buckholz is 4. And Siegel. So Alan
Steve.
Thompson,
And Steve's
Mason,
decided to vote for.
And Geigers. All right, against
Doug and one proxy.
Me.
Doug and Jerry. Bob.
Are these the no's?
These
Yeah,
are the no's.
be against. All mayor.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
4. So 1, 2, 3, 7.
So,
The tie.
7 fails. Okay.
Since there was never any discussion on this, I would like to raise my one concern, is that according to the opinion that came out of the mayor's office on this issue, is that when a mayor is reelected, his term continues. And so if you had a mayor that served for 5 terms, you could never get rid of the city attorney, you could never get rid of the city clerk, unless you had, it's like, was it 7 votes from the council and the mayor going along with it. So the term, because what it says is the term of the city attorney and the city clerk ends with the term of the mayor, and the opinion that came out from the mayor's office was the mayor's term never ends if it's reelected. So they're in forever. And so you have someone like Bob White who stays there.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, if it were only Bob White, I would have voted the other way. But, you know,
Response. Thanks for that information, Bruce. I think the clerk is ministerial and administrative. I think the attorney is more, I want to say, substantive, only regarding subjects and things like that, not meaning it's any more important. A clerk's role can go from one clerk to another. An attorney, it would be disruptive to cases, to issues, to politics, things like that. And I think we proposed.
all right, we had the
Well, the vote.
vote
was
already.
taken.
We had the vote already.
The vote
We
was
don't need
taken.
discussion
All right,
after the
now
vote.
we're moving to the clerk. Does anyone want to make a motion on the clerk?
All right. I thought Bruce wanted to discuss it.
No, I just wanted to give my reason for being concerned about it.
I move to leave the status quo as it is, vis-a-vis the clerk.
It's been moved and seconded.
What is the motion?
I don't see the point of bifurcating. I can't have
The motion is that the clerk, that the existing interpretation of the charter, if you vote for the motion, you vote for the existing interpretation of the charter that the clerk's term is coincident with the mayor. In other words, they do not require to, they're not required to be.
And no action by us gets you the same result. Right?
So do we need a motion?
That was the motion I meant to make.
Yeah,
And I'd be happy to substitute what you just said for the
Okay.
status quo.
all right.
That's
So, all right, does everybody understand the motion? If you vote for the motion, it sticks with the current interpretation by the city attorney and outside counsel. The appointed official's term is coterminous with the mayor. Okay, all in favor?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
What is how does the appointment process go? If the mayor decides not to reappoint the city clerk after the election, can they choose to not reappoint them?
American
That's
Fire.
not the opinion.
It is not the opinion.
That's not the opinion that came out of the city attorney's office
Oh,
and from the mayor's
so
office.
the clerk could sue and say, breach of
That-
my
I think there
position.
could be a
or
new
whatever.
opinion. I think there probably will be a different opinion later on, but to say it from some other city attorney, I mean, that happens all the time.
Okay.
Isn't the clerk and the attorney, aren't they unprotected by
Yep.
the Hatch Act?
They're
And the
unclassified.
clerk can be removed at any time, right, by the mayor?
No, it sounds like they
No.
can't. It's like we elect.
I-
It's like we elect them on the coattails.
Yeah, I don't-
That's the
There's
opinion.
no-
Wait a minute, the clerk cannot be removed?
Yeah.
That's
Odds
true,
are
then
They can be removed by a vote, a majority vote, or a supermajority
Supermajority
vote
vote.
of the city council after a recommendation by the mayor.
The mayor can't.
Can the council move it on their own?
That was the
No.
charter amendment.
No.
Only on recommendation of the mayor.
Okay.
Sounds like royalty.
Yeah, that's why I moved the status for the lawyer. I'm just not all that concerned about the clerk one way or the other.
All right, all in favor of the motion, raise your right hand.
Aye and aye.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually,
It would-
yeah,
So 5,
7, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
5,
7.
6.
Doug has 2, yeah. Okay, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in favor. So the motion fails, it doesn't, I don't think.
Doesn't matter
Doesn't
because you
matter.
stay with what you have.
Yeah,
Okay.
All right.
I would move to adjourn.
we've got Myron's issue.
Okay.
I
So,
promise.
Mr.
Oh, we have
Chair.
another issue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I think that you had said it was going to be on a later agenda a couple meetings ago when I brought it up. So.
Yeah, and I'm up for making this the second thing, so we'll only have 2 things we discuss, other than the language of our report at our meeting on the 17th. This, okay,
Okay,
All right.
so then I request staff's assistance on this then to help me research if there are other cities that have something similar, if they have a time frame, because I don't want to be just random about how we designate the time frame about, and it would be in the case of an important appointment that it is hindering the city's ability to do their business, that if the mayor is not appointing a person to fill that spot after X amount of time, which is a reasonable amount of time as per relative to other places, that the council has the ability to vote on an appointment.
okay. Now, you got that, so we'll bring that up. Is there anybody got anything where they feel they haven't had an opportunity to express themselves? I said before, I'm gonna run roughshod. I didn't mean to run too roughshod over people.
Oh, yeah.
But I wanted us to get through these things. But I don't want anybody to feel like they haven't had an opportunity to express an opinion or anything along those lines.
Well, I'm gonna call Holly home and warn her.
All right. Well, anyway, thank you all.
Are we discussing that item that?
No more,
we
no
decided
more.
Just mentioned?
No,
No
we
mas.
decided that we're not going to discuss that. But there will be 2 substantive issues at our meeting, potentially 3, but three, clarifying on the matching funds issue, discussion of whether the mayor should have an additional amount above what the council gets, and the failure to appoint issue will be the three substantive issues that we will discuss, and then we will vote on our final report.
Just because I didn't hear you, what was the third one, please?
God, if I can remember. Oh, this issue that Mara
The
just
time
read.
frame.
Okay.
Time frame.
Okay, very good.
Important
Thank you.
appointment.
Thank you all, we are adjourned.
I move to
All right, thank
adjourn.
Thank you. Move to adjourn.
At the next